Alright folks, this is Astor's Wired, so welcome to episode 4 of the Devil May Cry playthrough. This is where things start getting kind of tricky, but the first maybe 2.5 minutes are just the leftover gameplay segment from the previous segment, which I actually didn't realize how close to completing this stage I actually was. It's kind of doofy in the sense of that, me thinking about it, just how little I had to go to complete this stage. Here I was thinking that the lion that they were talking about with that purple wall, that there was going to be something we had to do with that, but we didn't. I would have to say we probably are going to revisit areas if I had to guess. So that's kind of the concept, but we'll figure it out as it shows up. Yeah, so basically, I'd also gotten a tip off from Jack the Gold Kick about how there is like a weapon that needs to be picked up, so we're going to get that in this episode, and we're going to also, well yeah, there's a boss fight in this, so that's kind of the concept. So we're kind of capping things off here to be able to see what this game is about. So it's interesting enough, but I will have to say, as you see the boss fight later in this episode, you're going to see that it kinda, I mean, for me to be doing this blind, it's a little bit differential of like how to approach this boss, because it's not necessarily a boss that has a lot of open points. This is kind of like, alright, now we're in the new gameplay segment, so this is where we complete stage 2. But yeah, so basically I was trying to say, yeah, it just didn't feel like the boss character had a lot of weak points, which leads me to believe that this could probably wind up being a rather hardcore game, so we'll just have to see about it. You know, between, I mean, yeah, I'm just wondering, because, you know, some games, alright, but here's the sawed-off shotgun. So this kicks ass. Dante has a pretty stellar weapon here, just to be able to say I have to equip it, and then we'll be on our way. So really, here I mean, I definitely think that this will work, but it, you know, like shotguns, you have to understand they're not as good from a distance, but you'll see it in action soon. So, alright. Yeah, like I was saying, with the boss, I mean, it was a creepy boss. I mean, it fits, like, the feel of this game rather well. I appreciate that. I'm hoping that there'll be more boss characters like that, but the boss, I don't want to say it was tough, but it was just kind of not so much approachable. You know, it just seemed like, compared to the enemies I've fought so far, it was kind of more of like I'll probably, if I wind up encountering more boss characters like that, this might wind up being less of like a blind run, because I'm just going to have to say I need to know how to attack these enemies. So this is kind of Dante uses a shotgun with one arm, so kind of the thing. He's a real badass. He knows how to, not being sarcastic, it's true, it's pretty wicked there. But they do actually reveal, I want to say in like maybe Devil May Cry 3, you see Dante without a shirt, so he is in decent shape. I wonder what his height is. I wonder, he looks like he's like 6 foot, maybe 6'1", something like that. They need to say those things. They need to say, like, Dante, you know, he weighs like 185 pounds, 6'1", something like that, you know. Maybe he's only 5'10", I don't really know, maybe he's, but yeah, Dante needs a crew, kind of the concept. He has a business and it's just him. You can't have a one-man business for them. I mean, you can, but it's just like, he needs extra folks to kind of help him out, you know. Like, even Solid Snake had that Ocelot dude. I think that was his name. Otakon, that's who it was, yeah. Really, you can step on these spiders, but I was trying to do that, but it didn't seem to work that well. But yeah, so we're done with the stage now. This is all I had to do last time. This is kind of like, what the shit. But Staff of Judgment. So, yep, that completes stage 2. So, next stage is a boss fight. I got a C ranking for that. I completed that in 12 minutes, and that's not good enough for this game. I don't know what it is about, though. I mean, maybe they just rate it by how much damage you take, but I'm just kind of like, come on now. I know it goes, I think there's B, A, and probably S rank, I'd have to say, in terms of that. I don't know what goes past S if there's anything better than that, but they must rank it by how much damage you tank. Like, if you get hit 3 times, you're done with, like, an S and A rank or something like that, but beat the damn stage, so. Capcom is pretty particular. It's the same thing with, like, Street Fighter and stuff. They view themselves as hard asses. They're like, you better be up to the challenge. It would be kind of funny to go to like a boot camp or something of Capcom where you could just hang out with a bunch of other Capcom enthusiasts and that type of stuff. I guarantee that crowd of people would probably be like, hey, you know, they'd be bragging like, I beat Devil May Cry on like the Dante Must Die difficulty. I think that's the difficulty in here. I know there's hard and there might be another one, but the Dante Must Die difficulty, I only took damage like 5 or 6 times throughout the 20 stages in the game. You know, damn, I get to see those people being assholes. It'd be funny, but at the same time, it just is kind of. This is a little creepy viewpoint. The Pride of Lion. I don't know what this lion is. I hope this lion character is not a pain in the ass to fight. Yeah, so we actually do head outdoors a bit, so you're going to be seeing that. It's kind of interesting. But, yeah, this game just feels like it's in, like, the fall. But, yeah. I don't remember if they actually stated where this actually is. I don't know if this is, like, in Romania or Transylvania. I think Transylvania is a place. I don't, you know, some of those Eastern places that you see and typical type stuff like Castlevania. You're not going to really find much like blue skies and cloudiness and that type of stuff. Just bounciness, but it's not like that's a big deal, but we've got more stuff to learn here. Still, this game is still being somewhat cryptic. I kind of feel like just in terms of like the essence of that, it's a little bit cryptic right now, and I mean, it's definitely original for the PlayStation 2, just because I feel like this is probably one of the better kind of like adventure games, that type of stuff. I mean, really, you know, this is probably more so than Grand Theft Auto. I mean, Grand Theft Auto keeps it more in the real sense, despite that it's kind of cartoonish and like the violence in the game somewhat. But this game really, it's kind of like the adventure game that just really kicks out. This is probably the one I'd recommend, either this or Metal Gear Solid or something. Both games are good enough to say go for, but you know, Metal Gear Solid is of course more in politics and stealth. So this is just an overall, because there weren't any games like this for the most part for like the PlayStation 1. I mean, you might have had like Silent Hill and Resident Evil and those type games, but for the most part, this is like one of the first. And I would almost say that Dante is kind of like an emo individual. I mean, he's not quite as moody as like someone like Cloud is from Final Fantasy VII, but he is kind of, I don't want to say standoffish, but just kind of stoic in a sense. He just doesn't talk to anyone. I mean, I'd like to, like I've said before, it'd be neat to kind of get some, you know, to be able to see Dante's character more. I mean, the way that they show that Dante's a badass is by the stuff he does through actions more so than speaking. I mean, for the most part, you know, it's just at least up to stage 3 or stage 4. That's what we've seen so far, but it is, and like, this game is like real ghastly. Alright, so yes, first boss character is a molten spider. They should give it a name, but I wonder. And this is what I was talking about. I mean, this boss, I don't want to say full-blown gave me trouble, but I'm just kind of...
What a big surprise. I hope for your sake you got something inside that big body of yours.
mean, yeah, it's just kind of difficult. It's kind of like a scorpion thing. It has like a tail like a scorpion, so it's interesting on top of that. But I mean, that's really the concept, is me just not understanding the open points. I mean, this is what I was talking about earlier in the episode, where I feel like if more boss characters are going to kind of be like this, where you have to kind of figure it out, I'm just going to have to wind up watching, because I don't know how many game overs are going to be entertaining to sit there and, this could stretch on, So I did do a decent amount of effort on this. I just didn't want to use all my health stuff, so I just figured, because I have 3 health tricks or health power-ups to get me back to form. I probably, you'll see. Shotgun is really not doing anything against this. I guess they figured it'd be too easy, but Vital Star, that's what those are called. So. Now that I'm actually watching this battle more so than engaging in it, I just kind of feel like I probably, But this is what I don't want these episodes to consist of. I mean, I don't have too much of a problem with it stretching for longer, but I'm wondering about how specifically to handle like the boss characters if they do wind up being kind of more like dicey, that type of stuff. So we'll see. But we do beat this character in this mission or this episode, so then we'll start stage 4 and we'll see. If I had to guess, I mean, to my knowledge, I thought there was either 15 or 18 stages in Devil May Cry, so we're already either a 5th or a 6th of the way done with the game. But just to kind of say, I do kind of think that, I probably would have to say there's going to be a boss fight like every 3 stages, something like that. So, I'm trying to think of other things that's been going on. It's been kind of mellow. I need to. Been watching the news, stuff like that. It's good to see that. Well, I mean, there's still inflation and stuff like that out there, but I'm trying to really figure out. I guess I could talk about music. Like, I reviewed a Zed album, which is kind of like a dance album. Drake dropped a new project, and it's been kind of mellow besides that. I guess like Kevin Gates did something, and like a couple other folks. But I'm trying to, I would like to see more kind of dance records. It's too bad that Missy Elliott won't ever put out an album. I would definitely think that would work. But I don't know so much if she's over the hill. But that type stuff. I mean, that's really kind of the question mark is as far as what's going to happen this summer, just in terms of like all the games out, or not the games, but the albums that are going to come out. I mean, really, this is kind of slim pickings. I mean, we're in mid-late June now, and this is what we're kind of having to deal with. It's like, come on, don't be so predictable. I mean, Drake dropped a surprise album, but we need like those things. We need something that's kind of like, hey, this is coming like July 20th and August 15th, just to kind of get people excited about. I don't know. I mean, I saw on Deuce's Wikipedia that he said he was working on new music. I don't know if he's just being full of hot air, but it would be neat to get some of that if it was actually to be taken seriously. I mean, Deuce, at least at this stage, after being gone 5 years, could say, like, new song coming in like 3 weeks rather than, I don't know. It's just, some of those folks do that on Twitter where they'll say coming soon, and it's, no, it isn't. But yeah, we'll see how that happens. Beat 2 stages in 1 episode, basically. We'll start stage 4, and then we'll kind of get that more in motion. This has just been kind of a cloudy episode just because it's been kind of dicey in terms of the difficulty. But, alright, so see you then.